Hello and a warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Cycle in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. At the backdrop of the pressures from the organized labor, there are indications that the federal government would rely on borrowing to implement its plan to increase salary for federal workers in 2024. This indication emanates from details in the Budget Office of Federation notes on the 2024 FG budget where it attributed the rising deficit to three key factors, including salary review, among others. BOF stated the high projected level of fiscal deficit in 2024 is partly attributable to the proposed salary review of federal workers across board. The estimated deficit amounting to 9.3 trillion naira, according to BOF, would be funded by both domestic and external borrowing. The other two key drivers of deficit in 2024 are increased pension obligations and higher debt service cost. The planned FG deficit represents about 50% of total FGN revenues, but analysts project a higher proportion given the current revenue constraints as well as actual performance in 2023. The federal government says it is working with the United States, the United Nations Program on HIV and AIDS, and the Global Fund on an initiative aimed at ensuring country ownership and sustainability of national response to HIV and AIDS beyond 2030. The collaboration came just as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, revealed that President Bola Tinubu's administration is committed to sustaining the initiative to treat more HIV patients annually using resources mobilized locally. The SGF, who spoke during the commemoration of World AIDS Day in Abuja on Friday, said the government recognized the invaluable contributions of communities in the fight against HIV and AIDS. The Nigerian Immigration Service has assured Nigerians will receive their passports 3 weeks from the day of application submission, except cases of unanticipated technical difficulties. Speaking to reporters at the opening of the Igbogbo Passport Front Office in Igbogbo Beyeku Local Council Development Area of Ikorodu, Lagos State, the Comptroller General, Caroline Adekpoju, stated that barring all technical problems, Nigerians should be able to completely apply for their passport, and within 3 weeks they should be able to get it, since national identity numbers are connected to passports. It is crucial that all applicants register using the same information as the National Identity Management Commission. The Military High Command stated that troops, in collaboration with the operatives of the Department of State Services, arrested the leader of Islamic State for West African Province terrorist group in North Central and Northwest zones. Although the military did not identify the terrorist leader, it says he was in custody. A statement by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said the resolve of the military is to go after the leaders of the terrorist group led to the arrest of the terrorist leader. He noted that air operations conducted in the regions had led to the destruction of terrorist enclaves. And the Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Ali Ndume, has defended the rendition of the President Bola Tinubu campaign tune at the hallowed chamber of the National Assembly during the presentation of the 2024 budget, saying it is not a big deal. Earlier on Wednesday, during the President's presentation of the appropriation bill before the joint session of the National Assembly, the band delivered a rendition of the Tinubu's campaign tune as the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Speaking on the development, Ndume said it is not really right, but equally it's not a crime. In this country, we're used to pick on trivial things. And indications have emerged that the National Assembly would pass the 2024 appropriation bill of 27.5 trillion naira on Tuesday, December 19th. The State, the Senate, and the House of Representatives had passed the Renewed Hope budget for second reading. The Deputy Senate, President Jibrin Barrow, hinted during the plenary that the budget might be passed by the lawmakers on December 19th before embarking on their Christmas and New Year break. During deliberations, senators applauded President Bola Tinubu for his good intentions for the country, but some lamented the failure of the executive to provide the details of the budget. Members of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly unanimously elected Danladi Jatto, representing Kokona West constituency, as Speaker of the House. Similarly, the position of the Deputy Speaker went to Mohammed Oyanki, member representing Doma North constituency. The newly occupied positions followed Tuesday's sack of the former Speaker Ibrahim Abdullahi at the appeal court sitting in Abuja. And the attention of the Department of State Services, DSS, has been drawn to some spurious publications by Jackson Ude on his X handle against the person and office of the DGSS, Yusuf Magaji Bichi. In a statement made available to journalists by Director PR and Strategic Communications, DSS states that the allegations are entirely false and wishes to clarify that neither the DG nor anyone acting on his directive has looted staff subsidy grant, and no such grant has been made available to the service, and once that is allocated, staff will, as usual, receive what is due them. Bichi has in all ramifications evidently catered for the welfare of active and retired personnel. The Nigerian Navy says its personnel have impounded and destroyed a boat conveying drums of illegally refined automated gas oil in the seaward of the Bonny Island Channel in Rivers State. A top official of the Navy in Bonny, who didn't want his name, disclosed this to journalists on Friday, saying the boat was arrested off the Bonny River. He stated, in a coordinated effort, the diesel-laden boat was destroyed by men of the forward operating base Bonny, putting the estimated quantity of the destroyed product at 150,000 liters. The official further said the recent efforts by the security outfit were predicated on the charge of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, to officers and men to stamp out criminal activities in the maritime domain. At an event organized by the Project Enable Africa recently in Abuja to honor some prominent members of the disability community ahead of the forthcoming International Day of Persons with Disabilities, the Executive Secretary, National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, James David Lalu, has applauded President Bola Tinubu-led administration for promoting the rights, welfare, and dignity of persons with disabilities in Nigeria. While appreciating the award of honor by Project Enable Africa, Lalu thanked the group for recognizing his efforts and contributions towards the development of the disability community, as well as his sacrifices to see that persons with disabilities have quality life and are not discriminated against on account of their disabilities. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on Friday destroyed 3 acres of cannabis from Sayina town in Sokoto State. This was disclosed by the Commandant, NDLEA Sokoto Command, Adamu Iro, at a briefing with journalists at the State Command headquarters on Sunday. And according to him, the officers and men of the command swooped into action to uproot the illegal crop planted in a maize farm, and the suspect was arrested. Further stating at the briefing that Sokoto has a history of farming marijuana, but with the current happening, the state is trying to register itself as one of the states identified as producers of the illegal crop. With the alarming rate cases of tuberculosis increases yearly, countries have been called upon to domesticate the global campaign towards ending the scourge of tuberculosis by the year 2030. This call was made at the high-level meeting organized by the Stop TB Partnership Nigeria towards achieving a world free of tuberculosis. Fawzia Lukman completes the report.
Gathered in a high-level meeting which was organized by multiple actors including the Federal Government of Nigeria, United Nations and a host of other organizations among others, provided a forum to appraise the achievement of the fight against tuberculosis and what needs to be done towards achieving the set of goals of a world free of tuberculosis by the year 2023. Speaking at the meeting, the vice chair of the Stop TB Partnership in Geneva, Austin Obiefuna, shed light on the aim of the high-level meeting.
It's for countries to go back home to understand what it fits in for them for the political declaration, because the political declaration is actually a global document which is meant to be adopted by countries. And adopting it by countries means that we need to understand what are the global targets and what is the share for you in your countries. We are looking at countries now domesticating those results, those targets coming from UNHLM, and how it will help them in terms of their program.
Speaking further at the meeting, the World Health Organization Chair on Tuberculosis, Dr. Omoniyi Amos, spoke on the efforts being administered locally and globally to end tuberculosis.
The NTB strategy we are talking about was from WHO, and most of the guidelines, most of the guidance document, strategic plans, how to do it, the ideas, what is conceptualized by WHO. And at country level, in addition to helping to mobilize, helping to develop the guidelines, develop the innovations, we also support country effort to mobilize resources, especially international resources. We also help the government to track, to be able to track the indicators, the cases, and use also the data to inform the decision. The target divided by state. The state will know the target. We're going to have detailed budget. We're going to know what the government is going to contribute, what the state government is going to contribute, what we are going to bring on board to be able to reach.
The overall goal of the Stop TB Partnership Nigeria is to end the global tuberculosis epidemic deaths and cases set for the year 2030. Fawzia Lukman, Global TV News.
You're watching Global TV News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the news cycle returns, Nigeria, Germany sign agreements to accelerate Siemens Power Project. The news continues shortly with details of this and other stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. And on the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree on Friday boosting troop members by 15%, in a move the army said was due to threats associated with the Ukraine offensive. The move comes as both Ukraine and Russia seek to gain ground and replenish their ranks in the conflict, whose front lines have barely moved in recent months. The increase in the full-time strength of the army is due to growing threats to the country linked with the special military operation and the continuing expansion of NATO. It said the number of serving army soldiers would increase by some 117,000 people, and this was an adequate response to the aggressive activity of the NATO bloc. It added that it did not plan changes to conscription or another mobilization drive. Unpopular measures that has caused an exodus of men out of Russia last year. And no fewer than 50 students from the University College Dublin have involved in the construction of the Republic of Ireland's first successfully launched satellite. The satellite, AirSat-1, is a 2-unit CubeSat, miniature cube satellite equipped with 3 experiments and was deployed into orbit from a Falcon 9 SpaceX rocket from the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, United States. The student-built satellite was constructed under the guidance of the European Space Agency. The launch of the educational Irish research satellite 1, AirSat-1, has been described as a major milestone in the nation's space industry. The economic community of West African states has strongly condemned an outbreak of fighting on Friday in Guinea-Bissau, where the situation had returned to calm Saturday. Clashes between members of the National Guard and special forces of the Presidential Guard broke out in the capital, Bissau, leaving 2 dead. ECOWAS stated in a statement that it strongly condemns the violence and all attempts to disrupt the constitutional order and rule of law in Guinea-Bissau. ECOWAS further calls for the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators of the incident in accordance with the law. In business, Governor Alex Otti has concluded plans to increase the salaries of the Abia State workforce. Otti disclosed this in Umuahia during a media party with journalists, stating that he is engaging with stakeholders to improve the minimum wage of the state workers and that soonest the package would be made public. The reason for adjusting the package, he stated, was in line with the realities at hand, especially the economy, adding that the recently retired permanent secretaries and directors would receive arrears of salaries and gratuities due to them, while assuring of his commitment to defray pension arrears in the state. Nigeria and Germany signed the Presidential Power Initiative Agreement to improve electricity supply in Africa's most populous nation. This was disclosed in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President, Ajuri Ngelale, saying the signing was presided over by President Bola Tinubu and the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, while the Managing Director of the Nigerian Power Company, Kenny Anue, signed on Nigeria's behalf. The Managing Director, Siemens AG, Nadja Hakanson, signed for Germany. Speaking after the signing ceremony in Dubai, Managing Director of the FGN Power Company, Kenny Anue, highlighted Siemens Energy's effective delivery of crucial equipment worth over 63 million euros to the country since the project commenced. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it will freeze accounts without a bank verification number, BVN, or National Identification Number, NIN, from April 2024. This is according to a circular by the Apex Bank, which instructed banks to place a post-no debit restriction, which prevents customers from making withdrawals, transfers, or any other debits for all existing Tier 1 accounts and wallets without BVN or NIN. It also said all BVN or NIN attached to accounts and wallets must be electronically revalidated by January 31st, 2024. According to the bank, a BVN or NIN verification will be conducted shortly, adding that the move is part of its efforts to promote financial system stability and strengthening of the Know Your Customer (KYC) procedures in financial institutions. The bank will also carry out a comprehensive BVN and NIN audit shortly, and where breaches are identified, appropriate sanctions will be applied. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangewa, has urged mortgage banks to adopt rent-to-own mortgage options and flexible monthly mortgage loan repayments as strategies to develop innovative mortgage products and make commercial loans more affordable. He urged all bank CEOs to ensure that Nigerians within the low and medium income segments have access to affordable mortgages. According to him, business owners should not see the provision of housing and home loans from a business and profit motive, but as a moral imperative to reduce the number of homeless persons. The minister gave these recommendations while delivering his keynote address at the 20th edition of Mortgage Banking Subsector CEO's annual retreat held in Abuja on Saturday. The Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, PLC, has announced a 5-day power outage in some parts of Anambra State. The organization said the outage is to enable the Transmission Company of Nigeria engineers to carry out maintenance on their facility. This was disclosed in a statement issued on Saturday by the head corporate communications EEDC, Emeka Eze. Eze added as a result of the planned maintenance, the 60 MVA power transformer at the GCM station will shut down for the days the maintenance will last. The EEDC distributes electricity to the southeast states. The Naira closed the week at 927.19 Naira to a dollar on the official investor and exporter forex window. This was a 16.64% decline from the 794.89 naira per dollar. It closed the week that ended November 24, 2023. According to data from the FMDQ Securities Exchange, also the turnover of dollars traded in the market improved from $75.82 million to $110.14 million in the period under review. On Friday, the naira began trading at 815 naira per dollar for the day before hitting a high of 1,160 naira per dollar and a low of 701 naira per dollar within the day. It eventually closed trading at 927.19 naira per dollar last week Friday. The naira traded at a high of 1,136 naira per dollar and a low of 700 naira per dollar. The naira has continued to fall despite the Central Bank of Nigeria's attempt to clear a backlog of foreign exchange forward contracts. The Apex Bank's Governor Olayemi Cardoso recently stated that fiscal deficit and public debt increases are adding pressure to the external reserves and contributing to exchange rate instability. The federal government, through the Nigerian Orientation Agency, has launched a compressed natural gas, Keke Napep, to cut down the high cost of transportation. The NOA, in collaboration with the Simba Group of companies and Ecomed Acres, launched the CNG Keke on Friday in Abuja. The tricycle is said to consume less fuel compared to the existing tricycles that use petrol, and as such will cut down the cost of transportation to the barest minimum. Addressing journalists at the event, the Director General, NOA, Lanre Issa Onilu, said the project is focused on touching the lives of ordinary Nigerians, especially those living in the rural areas, and consonant with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. The DG said the federal government has established about 10,000 CNG stations across the country to ensure the availability of compressed natural gas to the users of the newly launched tricycles. It assured Nigerians that the CNG Keke Napep will drastically reduce the high cost of transportation and other similar challenges currently experienced by Nigerians. And that's it on Global TV News Cycle. Don't forget, we're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media handles using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.